Yo, what's good, guys? You're listening to another episode of Redefine Gospel Sounds with myself, Success. Hope you guys are good. Hope you guys are well. Hope you guys are blessed. Hope you guys are just enjoying the life that you're living. But yeah, missed you guys. And today's a great day. What I'm even gonna do, I'm gonna switch it up right now before we even start. Pause. If you're on YouTube, pause the video, subscribe, hit that subscribe, like that, comment that, whether it's my name, whether it's the name of today's guest, whether it's emoji, YouTube eats that up. So give us that comment. Spotify, hit that 5 stars because you're going to like this conversation. Apple Music, we might not show as much love all the time, but we still do care for you. So Apple Music, give us those 5 stars as well. And yeah, share it to your friends, share it to your people, because there are people that are that love what we do, and we want you guys to spread it far and wide as well. And yeah, people deserve to hear today's conversation. They definitely do. I think especially when we set out for this podcast and stuff, and when we articulated the vision and we brought things to God and stuff, these kind of conversations are exactly what we had in mind, in terms of like redefining what we know, and what we know to be true, and having these conversations. I am super excited. A lot of you that are around my age, if you're 16, if you're 25, whatever, if you look on your playlist, there's a high percentage that there's a song here produced by the guy sitting next to me, which is just very cool. And you just have to take an acknowledgement of, I don't even want to make this guy feel odd, but I want to say that I grew up on music produced by him. I'm not even trying to make a man feel odd, did it? But I think I did. I know quite a few people would have as well. And today's just going to be an awesome opportunity just to listen to him, just to get a bit more insight into how he is, and just gonna chop it up. But I've actually longed it out long enough, and I'm delighted to be joined by Platinum Selling. He's gonna hate me by the end of it, and it's actually okay. To be joined by Platinum Selling, award-winning UK producer TSB in the building. What are you telling me?
No, thank you for having me, bro. I appreciate that. That's a nice intro.
But yeah, no. Thanks for coming through. We ask everybody this: how are you doing? And you're not allowed to say good, and you're not allowed to say blessed.
Do you know what's funny? Yeah? I ask my youth at church that question on Sundays.
Yeah.
And if they tell me they're fine, they have to answer again. I'm grateful. That's how I'm happy right now. Do you know what I mean? Happy to be alive. Just grateful for life. The opportunities that are coming across my way every day. Yeah, I'm happy. Do you know what I mean? I feel good. I feel blessed.
Yeah.
I think I'm in that stage right now of just gratitude in life, which is a nice place to be in. Do you know what I mean? Like when you actually realize that you've got things to be grateful for, kind of just makes you look at things from a different perspective and then appreciate everything around you.
Yeah.
So I think I'm in that season right now.
Fairs.
Yeah.
What's the year been like for you so far?
Boy.
As a whole, how's it going?
Do you know what? It's been up and down. Naturally, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Life is always like that. But it's been good at the same time. I've had a lot of trials this year. Probably more so this year than any other year.
Wow.
But I'm alive, do you know what I mean? Which means I have purpose. I've got something to do still. So I'm grateful for that. But yeah, the year's been cool. Very eventful.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Very, very eventful, yeah. But good.
Yeah. I am gonna take it like right way back to the start. In terms of growing up as a child, I'm gonna say when you're like 8, what would your parents say about you?
Talks too much. Always in trouble. Never smiles. I never used to smile. Never smiles. Had a lot of energy a lot of energy. Do you know what I mean? Very energetic. And I had a lot of love. I think I've always had a lot of love to give and to show. I think that's just in my nature. So I don't think that's changed. But yeah, I was a live wire. Do you know what I mean? I really was. So I'll probably say that's my parents would say I'm active. Do you know what I mean? I was an active child.
As you were kind of like, you had that energy. What naturally, I guess, music aside, what forms did that take? Was it a sport thing for you? Were you just running about everywhere? Like, what did that?
I'm also like running around everywhere. Really, it was more that, just running about everywhere. Sports as well, but I'm also, sports really became a thing for me from like maybe the age of 12.
Okay,
which is quite late. I feel like as a child. I didn't discover that I was actually quite exceptional at sports until quite late in my childhood.
What sport?
Football and sprinting. But
where do you play? Where do you play? After everybody that mentions football, I have to ask where they play.
I'm not gonna lie. I'm a very, very versatile player. But,
utility man.
Yeah. But I would say,
what's your favorite position?
Yeah, right wing, left wing.
Fair.
Yeah, because I was just faster than everyone else as well. You know what I mean? I enjoyed that. But I had a good football IQ, so I could play in the middle.
Reading the game.
I started as a centre back.
Okay.
Yeah, so, and then I think when they realised how quick I was and I could actually play, then it made sense to be in a different position. But yeah, that's what I'd say.
And then the sprinting as well. I have to ask. Yeah, sprinting, was that straight 100, 200, that?
Do you know what? Yeah, it was 100 to 400. Like, my older brother was very fast as well. Like, I think he was the fastest in his school, and he was in like year 8.
Fairs.
Do you know what I mean? Fairs. He was mad fast. Like, just crazy fast. But I would say like 1 to 4. Sprinting was nice, do you know what I mean? But then when you go and you start racing other schools and there's that one guy that's just a ringer.
That is why but I literally used to sprint under it, bro. And I think it's nice like when it's you, and when you know what when you go to the start line and you know the outcome already. You know that victory is yours already. Oh my gosh. You even be smiling, you even asking them, what's your PB? You even be chilling because you know. But when it got to like when I was like under 17 and guys would just
that's when you realise things are different.
Things are different. Like, it's not nice.
You can be the fastest in your neighbourhood, but it don't matter.
They actually don't matter.
But yeah, no, 400 was more me, I think, because I had stamina.
Yeah.
So like, I just knew how to run that race. Like, I think that was just in the mind for me. Like, I knew how to run that race. Like, I could not like use up my energy knowing that last 150.
Bro, knowing how to run the race is even different.
You know what I'm saying?
It's too different.
So there's something about the 400 that I just like. I think it's that, knowing that like it's just how you pace yourself and how you put the race together, in it. So I did like that. I did like that a lot.
No, fairs. Where was growing up? Where was home for you?
Home was split. Born and raised South London. So I was born in Brixton, but I grew up in like Stockwell, Clapham. That's where I grew up. And then when I was in like my early years of secondary school, as a family, we moved to Surrey. So I lived in Surrey for like, I would basically say up until uni. Yeah. Because from uni, I lived obviously by myself, and then I didn't really stay at home after that. Yeah. But so I'd say I was in Surrey for about, let's just say, properly 6 years. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? And that was also cool. Completely different.
Yeah, I was gonna that change. How did you find that change? Did you like when they told you, you're moving? Did you even like it?
No, but it was my fault. So I was getting into trouble, so it made sense, innit? You know what I mean? And I just think, obviously, you know what it can be like growing up in London. I loved it at the same time, but it can be dangerous, and if you don't have wisdom or you don't move with wisdom, things can happen. Do you get what I mean? And it's not that my mom should be praying every night or whatever. Do you get me? So yeah, we moved, and it took me a while, I think, to embrace it. Whereas I think maybe like my older brother, he adapted quicker, and my little brother was so young that he didn't know anything different, so it kind of just worked for him, innit? But it was cool. I don't regret any part of my upbringing or like wish it was different, because I'm still here. I'm still who I am. I'm who God wanted me to be, essentially, innit? So I guess that was supposed to be part of my story, innit? Yeah. But it was definitely a culture shock, as you can imagine. You grow up in blocks or like on the ends, as they'll say.
Yeah.
If I want to play football, I'm going to the cage, I'm doing this, I'm
Yeah.
doing that. And then I'm living like where I can see, if I'm on my pushback, I can see sheep or this or that, or like, do you know what I mean? Like, it's just grass everywhere. It's just green. It's very, very different.
Yeah.
Corner shops close at 11 o'clock.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, things like that. So,
yeah,
very, very different. Very different.
Okay. I think you said previously, like, your mom used to like, or sang in like the choir and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Even with all of that, like from a Christian perspective, like kind of growing up, I know a lot of us like from like similar backgrounds, like West African, all that stuff is like cool, church and it's a thing. And but what were your like early like experiences of that life?
Pretty much the same.
Yeah.
Go in church because I have to, because I'm forced to, as
Yeah.
opposed to me wanting to go.
Yeah.
And then there's times where you want to go because of the community. People that you've grown up in church with, they become your family. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I got bare church cousins. Do you know what I mean? Like, people that I've actually grown up with my whole life that are now inseparable. Do you know what I mean? So there was that too, which kind of would make me want to go to church sometimes. But because I was kicking ball on Sunday as well, if I had the choice at that time, I was only ever going to pick football, truth be told. Do you know what I mean? So it's different. And I guess when we moved to Surrey as well, we were still going to the same church.
Yeah.
So waking up extra early to go to church, getting home later, it's just not like, for me at the time, it just wasn't favourable. Do you get me? But at the end of the day, my mum's going to do what she wants to do. So, a lot of that. But like, I cannot say that I didn't grow up in church. Yeah, I had my years where I consciously decided not to go, but I was raised in the church. Do you know what I mean?
And even with that, I think because a lot of people, one thing I've always said to myself, like, at some point in the distant future, like if I ever parent or whatever, like I've always said that my greatest achievement will be like, you know, setting up that foundation that my kids will know God. That's even the number one. And I think that's something that as I sit here now, I'm so grateful for my parents for that grounding. Because
it's important, man.
It's super.
Well, the word says it, innit? Like, lead your child in the way of the Lord, when they're older, they will not depart.
Yeah.
It's true.
Yeah.
Like, even though we do have that time or that moment where we become an adult and we make our own choices, the fact that I guess it's been instilled in us from that young age, you kind of never really forget. It's just that you want to make choices to do other things. Yeah. And I think then your fingers might get burnt, and then you may just feel like, okay, that whole prodigal son thing, you come back home, whatever. But it's important. Like, I definitely know that I'm definitely going to raise my kids to know God, do you know what I'm saying? And to see God in the household. It's important. Yeah. It's important.
Cool. Gonna take a brief break from you. We're gonna segue. We're gonna play a game. Because every episode I have to make sure. We're gonna play a game. It's like name the category kind of vibe. Okay. Name the letter and the category shout. I don't know the name. I didn't have a name for this one, guys. But I'm gonna do that so I can see it. So for example, I could give you the letter like O, and I'll be like, name a fruit, name a country, name a this.
Okay.
We're gonna
I think I'm kind of good at those kind of things.
Alright, cool.
Hopefully. Cool. I'm on camera, innit? So.
Cool. I'm not even gonna ask you if you're ready. I'm just gonna go.
Alright.
Cool. So the first letter is T, and then so T and then car.
Tesla.
Country.
Tanzania.
Fruit.
Fruit beginning with T.
Sorry, fruit and veg. Sorry, my bad. Fruit and veg.
Tomato.
Shop.
Where did I shop for the Tom's?
Okay, I was gonna go Tesco's, but first, animal.
This is not easy. I should know this. Tiger.
Sport.
Tennis.
Body part.
Toes.
Car. Next.
That's not that easy.
Alright, next one, you'll even catch the theme now. Next is S. So, car.
Subaru.
Country.
Spain.
Fruit or veg.
Say fruit or veg.
Yeah.
Spinach.
Shop.
This should be so easy, man. Sondico. That's a shop. It's a brand.
Animal.
Shark.
Sport.
Why is this difficult? Sport, beginning of swimming.
Body part.
Oh my Lord. How can I not think of this?
Hey.
So what's the letter S?
Yeah. I can't lie. I might actually give you a pass because I actually don't think. I can't lie. I'm actually gonna give you a pass on that.
Now I'm trying to think.
I'm actually gonna give you a pass on that.
What's the body part that begins with S?
Because I was gonna say an offshoot like saliva, but that doesn't count because that's an offshoot of a part. I can't lie. We're actually gonna have to brush that. But in the comments, if you know, then
someone knows.
But someone knows because
it'll be like a scientific name.
Yeah.
Though,
Sorry, we're gonna leave that. That's very disappointing. Cool. Last letter, cool. Obviously B. Got to be firing on this one. Now this is your last one.
Okay.
You see, guys. You see. That's why we're on this chair. You know.
Okay, I like it. I like
cool.
it.
Car.
Bentley.
Country.
Bolivia.
Fruit or veg.
Here we go again.
It's car. Don't lose it. Don't lose it. Shop.
Balenciaga.
Cool. Animal.
Bear.
Sport.
Basketball.
Body part.
Back.
Yeah.
That was a bit easier.
I was getting a bit worried for you.
Yeah, I was thinking, yo, it just, do you know, it's when you say it and it goes blank.
Yeah, just.
I was like thinking, where do I shop? I don't even shop at Tom's. I said T.
Nah, because when I see other people do it, like sometimes maybe they have like a filter and they can see, but it's easier when you can see that. But when you can see it, when it's just blind like that, that's tough, it is a little bit tech. Yeah. It is a little bit tech.
That was good though.
No, thank you. Cool. Back to yourself. Before we even kind of get into the whole music side of things, if you didn't do what you do now, what would you be doing?
I got no idea.
Fairs.
I can't tell you that. I don't know. Do you know why? Because I quit music before because I thought that it wasn't what I was supposed to do.
Why?
So
was there anything that around that specific moment that you were like, nah, that what would push you to that kind of thing to like say?
It's a long story, but I was just going through a lot in life, and I think that I just needed a break, and music wasn't fulfilling inside. I guess that whole thing of like, what does it profit a man if you gain the world and lose your soul? So I kind of just thought, I'm not really sure about this. So I stopped in it. And then I guess that's when God kind of made things as clear as day. It was just like, no, this is what you're actually supposed to do. But in that moment, like, and that was only the end of 2019, to be fair. I had no idea what I would have gone and done, if that makes sense. Yeah. If I was told to go and probably go Russia and preach, I probably would have gone. Do you get it? Because I was just at that place in my life where I was just like, I just want to do something that's going to make me happy or like give me a sense of fulfillment in it. Yeah. So it'd be easy for me to say, oh yeah, I could be in management or this. Yeah. Like I studied a business management and entrepreneurship degree. So yeah, I could have probably gone into business or something, but do you know what I mean? I could have continued to pursue sport or whatever. I don't know. I don't know what I would be doing. I just know that I'd be where the money is. I know that much.
No, I hear that, man. I hear that. When we talk about music then, in the home for you, where did that take hold first?
Probably in my household.
Yeah.
Like I said, my mum used to be the leader of the choir at my church.
Did you have to go to like the choir sessions and that, or did you have to go?
Probably I went to some.
Yeah.
Like, not that I wanted to.
Please.
Probably. I can't really remember. I'm sure when I was a child I went to a few, you know what I mean? My older brother was a producer and he used to play in church as well. My dad used to kind of like play around DJ and stuff when I was younger, so a lot of my musical taste and background is actually from my dad. Like my dad introduced me to a lot of different music, jazz music, a lot of the 80s and 70s stuff, like the Michael Jacksons and all of that. That would have been all my dad. even up to like 50 Cent and people like that, my dad. And then my mum was obviously like all the gospel music, Ron Canoli, Don Moen, like all them lot,
Hall
Kirk
of Famous,
Franklin,
Hall of Famous,
like from them times. So if my dad was on the gospel, it would be more so the CC Winans and people like that. But my mum would be more Fred Hammond and this and all these people. So I had that balance from the jump, like of just good music to listen to. Do you know what I'm saying? And then like, I would say that's where it started. When you kind of see everyone doing it around you, whether you do it yourself or not, it can just be stirring up on the inside of you. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, I'd say that's where it came from, essentially.
And then obviously you've kind of spoken about, you know, you wanted to like maybe take a break, but on the flip side, where was that for you when you were like, okay, cool, like let's kind of like start this journey, like let's kind of take it on.
What do you mean from the start?
From the start.
Okay, cool. 16 years old. I was definitely 16. So I just finished secondary school. Had summer holidays before I was about to go college, innit? So I had just bare free time to do whatever I wanted.
Yeah.
My older brother's 3 years older than me. Well, 2.5, but 3 school years older. So he's already making beats now and doing all of this stuff. But my brother's just, well, he happens to be exceptional at everything he does, really, innit? So he started making beats and everything's just sounding really good. So I'm just like, yo, like this is kind of sick. Like if you could do it, so can I, kind of thing, innit? So I spent that summer like just learning how to make beats and whatnot. He went off to uni that year, so I guess we were separated for the first time in life, innit? So when my brother hit uni, he was now studying music, meeting more people and doing all of this stuff. So he was just doing a lot early on. So I was just in the infancy stage of whatever it looked like, just making beats and practicing. So everything I was making was crap. Like, to be honest, like really bad, innit? But you start somewhere, innit?
Yeah.
Like, I don't think music was a natural gift that I had.
That's interesting.
Or I can say it's natural now, but it's been nurtured. Do you know what I mean? Like now when people are like, oh, did you play in church? Oh, you look like you play in church. I've never played in church in my life. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, I would say that's where it started.
Yeah.
Just trying to prove to my brother that I was good enough was the main motivation behind me actually being in music till today.
Yeah.
That was the main thing. If my brother thinks I'm good enough, then I am good enough to do music. So that's what it was. Yeah. Just trying, making beats, blah, 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 blah. And then I guess 13 years later, this is where I am today.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Obviously, 16 is like, that's in any term, that's incredibly early. I find that a lot of people that, you know, start from around there and you know, you can kind of clearly see like where they're at. They've had quite a lot of self-confidence. Is that something that you can identify with? Or is that something that, as you know, things have started moving and as people have said, oh, you're like, or have you always had that self-confidence?
It's a weird one. I always had confidence that I was gonna be good enough, but I also was aware that I wasn't good enough. I think there's a big difference, like in awareness and confidence. Yeah. I think a lot of people in life naturally are confident, which is good, and then there's overconfidence. And I never want to be overconfident and then my results are not on the same level as my confidence. Everything needs to match. Yeah. If anything, my results need to be higher than my level of confidence. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? For me personally, that is. But yeah, I can definitely identify with believing that you're that guy at times and like I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna make it and blah blah blah. Yeah. But the truth is, all of that was just faith. Yeah. I can't make it by myself, can I? So like me believing that I'm gonna get there, it's just believing that somehow, some way, God, you're gonna do whatever you need to do. Yeah. And I'm gonna end up being in a better place, I guess. So yeah.
And back to like the relationship with you and your brother, because you spoke about like cool, like if he says that your thing is Gara, like it's Gara. But like what was it specifically about the relationship that you guys had that like that brought out that kind of determination to say, okay, cool, like I need to show him that cool, like this way is that. What was it specifically? Can you like?
I think when someone's good at something, your eyes cannot tell you otherwise. Like So one thing my brother always taught me was like, you need to be undeniable. Like, I don't really care if you like me, kind of thing, but you need to know that you cannot deny what's been given to me. This gift, it's not deniable. Like, so he taught me that early. He's also really humble. That went a long way. And I've got my own ears, so I can just hear levels in it.
Yeah.
And he was just better than everyone else.
Yeah.
So it's like, I'm just watching how he carries himself, how he does this, how he does that. And it's just like, okay, cool. As an older brother, I guess, you will look up to that and be like, yeah, I want to be like my brother or whatever. Do you get what I'm saying? So that played its own part. And then without going into it too much, my brother had a situation where he produced a record for Rihanna when he was like 21.
Damn.
Yeah, so my brother was a Grammy Award winning producer at 21 years old. I was 18 at the time. So seeing that happen and then seeing certain events take place after which were not favourable to him and were a bit unfortunate to him, kind of left him feeling a bit bruised from being in the industry and what music can do to you if you're not represented properly legally and have the right people in your corner in it. So if I was to say that in a spiritual sense, I feel like to some degree his star was stolen for a period of time. So when that happened, I feel like he kind of just felt like, yo, this music thing is really tough. So he's looking at me as his younger brother like, yo, you're not even good. So you should probably go and find something else to do. Do you know what I mean? And I think that is the main thing that pushed me to overdrive, essentially be like, yo, nah, I'm going to be good enough. My brother wasn't telling me you're not good enough or that you should try something else in a sense to like make me actually continue to do it.
Was it a protection thing?
Yeah, it was protection because he's aware like if he's that good and he's seen how he's been treated and how he's been handled, what's going to happen to me? I'm going to get chewed up kind of thing. Do you get me? So he's looking at it from that perspective. And I think even my parents were at a period of time, which is why they kind of tried to deter me from music for a period. So if I'm honest, that is probably the main defining factor behind why I actually look up to my brother and I value his opinion and advice more than anybody or anything else in music. Is because of what he'd gone through already. So naturally, when someone's before you, they see things, they experience things, so you don't have to. So if he's seeing this thing and it's like, if you walk this way, you're going to fall off, he's not going to want that from me. So I think it's more that.
And then your brother and I guess your immediate family, what do they think of where you are now?
They love it. You know what I mean? They love it. It's funny, innit? Because like, I go to the same church as my mum, innit?
Okay.
By choice. By choice now.
You got a bit of distinction there,
choice,
and she's still not dragging you.
But like, so sometimes we'll talk about it. Because like when I first signed my first publishing deal, this would have been 2017, I wasn't really going church like that.
Yeah.
So my mum was the one in church giving the testimony on my behalf.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, so, and it was a big deal. Do you know what I mean? It was a very, very big deal. It's funny because when we talk about it, like I got enrolled in music schools. Music just wasn't my thing. It just didn't work for me. Like I was just troublesome in it. So like if I was bought an instrument, that instrument was getting broken. Like it just didn't matter what it was. It just wasn't happening. Do you get me? So like if you used to put yourself in the shoes of a parent and then they're seeing this thing's not working for this child, you just got to do something else with you. Do you get me? And that was me. So like now, like I remember even the year before I graduated, and I was saying to my mum, like when I finish, I'm gonna do music. If you see the look she gave me, like, yo, I'm telling you,
it was not nice.
Yeah. If she could have flung me out of that car that minute, she would have, man. Do you know what I mean? But it just goes to show, like, you wouldn't believe it. So sometimes we laugh about it now, and my mum will be like, it really is God because I didn't even see it, kind of thing. Do you know what I mean? So, and it is because I quit. I was ready to walk away from everything after already achieving, in quote, success. Do you know what I mean? But because it wasn't about all of that stuff. It wasn't about any of that stuff.
What was it about?
I got a purpose in life, and I didn't know what it was. Maybe that came because, or maybe that was because I had a lack of understanding of who I was myself at the time, and I didn't have the relationship with God that I now have. So there'll be things that I'm not aware of. Do you know what I mean? That I probably ought to have been aware of or should have been aware of. So I actually know how to move forward as a man. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's always like, it's nice to have people praying for you and telling you, oh, God said this, but what's God saying to you yourself? Do you know what I mean? And I never had that before, ever.
Yeah.
Whereas now I'm having that more. So it's like, okay, I kind of know what I'm doing. I can take steps myself as opposed to waiting all the time for someone else to come and tell me something. So yeah, like, it's been very interesting coming back now and being like, okay, yo, I'm actually doing this with purpose, which makes it just more intentional. Like, I'm not making music for me, or like, of course it would be great to make music that when you walk past everyone's singing your song and blah 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 blah, but I'm here for a different purpose in it, and I know that now. So I have a job to do. Simple as that.
Literally.
Yeah.
Something I even want to pick on was when you were talking about, you know, the fact that people, you know, you've got to hear, I guess, from God like yourself as opposed to like, you know, other people. And I partly feel like people have to be really careful in an age where, like, you know, we've got like our so like, which is great, like so many events like that, like Kingdom Focus now. So whether it's like your worship nights, your like your prayer nights or whatever, like, and you've got people that are coming and, you know, they'll pray for you and stuff, which is awesome. But nobody wants to get to the point where, you know, you're going there because it's like, oh my gosh, that what's next
This
man gonna
person
tell
might-
me about, like, or what's next man gonna tell me? Because
I think those things work when you're yet to really have that relationship with God for yourself.
Yeah.
Those things are great for someone who's low on faith.
Yeah.
For maybe the unbeliever in quote as well.
Yeah.
Like somebody that's seen something and or has that thing in them where they're like, oh, I believe I need to go here today.
Yeah.
There's gonna be a word for me. I think in those senses it's okay.
Yeah.
But we should never put any of these people on a pedestal because they're not God.
Yeah.
So it's just that, innit?
And I think as well, it's like, you don't want to get to a thing where it's like you're now frustrated with God, where it's like, oh, but if somebody said something and maybe that word might not necessarily have come to pass in that season, and they're like, but they said X, Y, Z, like, how come it's not banging
You
now?
gotta vet everything, man. You gotta vet everything.
And you do have to take that that personal time, which we've spoken about on this pod many a time. But yeah, just taking that personal time to like seek God and have time with God, like, by yourself.
Yeah, it's important, man.
It's super important. That's where, and even a lot of the time, I'm just thinking from a creative perspective. I don't know why, but like, even from a creative perspective, like those moments where you're thinking, you know, what you're gonna, if you write, if you sing, if you do whatever, when you're in your own space, like when you're in like your quiet place with God, that's when you would just suddenly, like, things will just like start like kind of dropping to you, and you wouldn't even clock, and that would be worth, I don't know, another 5 days worth of you bare trying to like sit and kind of grind it out on your own. You're not used to that.
It's true. It's true.
Yeah.
There's a big difference when you try to do something in your own strength. It's just that simple. Do you know what I'm saying? You cannot move mountains by yourself.
Yeah.
You can't. Do you know what I mean? And I think that it's obviously having trust and faith. And again, it's not the easiest, but obviously faith comes through hearing, innit? Do you know what I'm saying? So sometimes you actually have to hear what God is saying in order to even believe that, okay, yo, this thing is actually obtainable, achievable. And then, once you actually let go and let God and have that trust and belief that, okay, yo, the promises of God are actually due for me, you'll see them. And I think the older you get, in terms of, when I say older, I don't mean by age, I just mean in terms of your maturity, in terms of your walk, you'll realize certain things, you get me? Like, you can just kind of have your hands off because God's only ever going to do what's best for you. Like, sometimes when I'm chatting to my brethren or something, like maybe ones that are not as involved in terms of relationship with Christ or whatever, I'll just say things like, obviously, if we believe that God made us and created us, then essentially your creator always knows you better than you know yourself, right?
Yeah.
So that means that your creator always knows what's best for you.
Yeah.
Always. Doesn't matter what you can see, He knows what's best for you. So you want to wear yellow today, but you should wear red.
Yeah.
He knows that. Do
Yeah.
you get what I'm trying to say? Obviously, we've got free will and we've got feelings, but he actually knows what's best. And I think the task is actually get into a stage where you are okay with trusting that this person actually knows best, and it might not actually be on your timing, because we want everything in our own time, and impatience leads to panic. Do you know what I'm saying? And panic leads to chaos.
Yeah.
So to avoid putting yourself in a situation of chaos, sometimes you just gotta sit back and be like, yo, do you know what, God, I'm just gonna wait.
Yeah.
And see.
One thing I found really interesting in terms of the prep for this pod is that like you've not smoked weed for like 2 years plus now. Right? Yeah. That's like, talk to me about like just that. That's really, talk to me about it.
Do you know what's funny? Yeah. So I started smoking when I was like 18.
Yeah.
Uni, nothing crazy, just how it can be, whatever. Just smoking weed. I say just smoking weed. It was just a lot of fun. I think sometimes people don't understand that, like, sin is pleasurable to the body. Do you get what I mean? And it's supposed to be. It's not like it's not supposed to be. So that's why when you do certain things, your body will give you certain reactions. You're not gonna do anything that you believe is harming your body, if that makes sense. Naturally, you're gonna do things which you think make your body feel good. And I think the whole being high and all of that kind of stuff will just like, everything will be more funny, chill with the man, and you're getting munchies, whatever. However it was, that's how it started, innit? Then eventually it becomes a thing of dependency. That dependency stage, it can take a long time to happen. You don't realize it. You're now chilling with your friends. But where's the weed though? Because you now want that same first feeling. The truth is, you can never have that same first feeling. Do you get me? So yeah, we're smoking. And I didn't realize, because I was going through a lot at the time. And it became a coping mechanism, pretty much. And I needed deliverance from that. Do you get what I mean? Like, I can't lie about it. I definitely did. I was addicted to smoking weed. So much to the stage that I was living in my studio for years. So if there was a family function, I'd probably prefer to get high, which means I'm just not going to go to the family function because I don't want to smell of weed around the family. Do you get what I mean? So I would just avoid seeing people that I can't smoke around, if that makes sense. Did that for a while, and then had like I'm gonna call it like my Noah's Ark experience. I had a crazy experience in it. Long story short, November 2019, I was in my studio, and the sprinkler system got set off in my room, and my whole studio flooded. Equipment, everything gone. Only thing that survived was my hard drive, which happened to be at the other side of the room. That hard drive had all the songs that I'd worked on like Big Conspiracy, and just loads of other things in it. So it was a lot, man. It was a lot, do you know what I mean? But I needed that experience. After that is when I quit music. And I just felt like my brother said something to me one day. He was like, I feel like God's just telling you to like, just take a break or something. I ended up just quitting, innit? Yeah. Because I was like, yo, like, I pay for my own studio, right? My studio rent's just under like £1,000 a month. And I was looking at it from this perspective of like, I'm investing money into a kingdom that doesn't belong to the person that I serve or to the God that I serve. That's how I was looking at it. Like, I'm paying for a studio, but all I'm facilitating is music that promotes sex, drugs, violence, whatever. So I'm feeding into that because I'm paying. Do you know what I mean? That's how I was looking at it at the time, innit? Very literally. So in that period of time, I remember I decided to move out of London as well, move back to my mum's house. I just needed a break. I didn't want anyone to know where I was, to see me, nothing. Do you get what I mean? So what happens? I'm driving home. I'm on the M25. I'm on the motorway. And then something was just like, oh, you should fast, innit? So I was like, yeah, I'm going to fast. Gassing myself up like, yeah, I'm going to fast, yeah. So
where were you, sorry to jump in, where were you at these times in terms of like your faith? Like, were you feeling on it? Were you like, did you still kind of feel...
I was right in the middle. I wasn't going to church. I'd started going to church again a little bit, but that was purely based on the fact that I was heartbroken. Like, really heartbroken. So I was in church a lot because I was actually in pain a lot. And I felt like that was the only place that I could be, that was going to ease any type of whatever I was going through.
The worship ones be hitting.
Yeah, no, it was like, I keep it a buck. Like, praise and worship music could come on and I'll just be like weeping. I couldn't like actually physically handle it. And I think at the time I was 25, 26, never cried about anything like that in my life. I'd never even cried as an adult. I remember I used to tell my brother, if you cry, you're a weak man. Do you know what I'm saying? Now I'm in a place of immense vulnerability and I didn't really know how to handle it. So anyways, I'm driving home. I'm like, yeah, I'm going to fast for 3 days. These times, the last time I tried to fast, I'm breaking my fast and banning the zoo. So I was like, I don't know how this is going to work. But I remember that morning, yeah, 23rd of November, 2019. And I was smoking a zoo in the morning, the last part of the zoo. And I was like, God, let this be the last time I smoke. So, cool. So I quit. Well, I said I was going to quit, right? Cool. So I've gone home, said I was going to fast, whatever. That next Sunday, I went to church with my mum, innit? My church was starting a 21-day fast. I thought I was going to do 3 days. Do you get what I mean? So I'm like, bruv, like, come on, man. Like, what is this? Like, I can't do this. But I'm like, do you know what? I'm going to try. I did it. By God's grace. 21 days. It was tested during those days where I had to end up going back to the studio to sort things out. Didn't smoke. I remember like day 12, and then I put it in my notes. So every month that I didn't smoke, I'd talk about it. I would talk about it. And what people won't know is this. So I got to 2 years. And when I hit 2 years, I was like, I'm going to smoke. Because I hit 2 years.
What, as like celebration?
Not as a celebration, just because I knew it would no longer affect me.
Wouldn't affect you like that.
So there was one day, someone that shall never be named. I linked one of my guys and he was smoking, and all my other brethren was like, oh, no way. So I took a couple talks. This will be last year.
Yeah.
Last year, December. Because November was when I hit 2 years. And I was so high. Like, so high that I just didn't even feel good. Like, whatever feeling that I thought I was going to get from 2 years ago went missing. So I didn't. Then this year, I think there was just one day where I think I just had a moment of weakness. That moment of weakness turned into a month of smoking. Then I had a really bad incident. Like, I ended up having a car crash. Not because of smoking or whatever, but I just realized that I was just letting myself go again so quickly or whatever, if that makes sense. So yeah, that was the end of that for forever. Do you know what I mean? But more so, like, in terms of why I quit in the first place, is just because I realized that, you see, like, if you've got physical pain, right, a doctor's gonna give you what? Paracetamol, or they're gonna give you painkillers, right? Painkillers. Cool. So they've given you something tangible for something tangible, right? Cool. Smoking weed is tangible, something you can touch, but the effects of it are intangible. That's scary. Like, that's crazy to me. If I'm depressed, yeah, or I'm going through something, they're gonna give me what? Antidepressants. Yeah. So you're giving me something physical to cure something that's not physical. How can I trust that thing? You can't trust it because there is no actual, do you know what I'm trying to say? So you can't touch that thing. So I realized, I think I was watching this sermon, yeah, by this preacher, like I think his church is like Apologia Church or something, one of the apologetics or whatever, yeah. And he basically said this, he was like, God doesn't get angry that people have these desires because he put these desires in us. But we go to the wrong things to fulfill that desire, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
We all desire love, right? We all desire to be wanted, this and that. There's nothing wrong with that. But where you might go to fulfill that desire is now where you can end up committing sin, or do you get what I'm trying to say? And that's just day-to-day life. So it's the same thing with weed or with this thing or with that thing. I realized that I could be around some of my brethren, and when everyone's high, that's the only time everyone wants to talk about their feelings. That's the only time people are actually open, because something has made them less vulnerable in that moment, in that state, to talk and to say this and to say that. So it's like, I looked at it, this is like house fellowship, but everyone's high. That's the only difference. There's no difference. You're sharing how you feel. You're sharing your experiences. You're doing this, you're doing that. It's like a focus group in that moment of time. Do you get what I'm trying to say? So I realized that smoking weed was spiritual. It's not something that is like something you can take with a pinch of salt. It's definitely spiritual, because let's just say, hypothetically speaking, we both smoked today, right? And I'm like, oh, success, come on, let's bun a zoot or whatever. This could be the first time you've ever smoked, right? That one toke you take could be the end. It could do something to your brain. It could, do you know what I'm trying to say? It could do something where it leaves you in a state that you were not in before. So you can't control that thing then, can you? Do you know what I mean? So for me, it's like, how can I continue to be putting a substance in my body that I have no control over?
Yeah.
And then, like, I guess this year has been like the year where I've really been, in quote, praying for more encounters with the Holy Spirit, to have the Holy Spirit all the time. And then things that you already know before but don't take into proper consideration. Your body's a temple for the Holy Spirit. It's a host for this spirit. So if you're not looking after the host, how can the spirit live in this thing? It just can't. Do you get what I'm trying to say? So I just started realizing all of these things, and I was just like, I can't be doing this anymore. Like, do you get what I mean? Like, for me to get to 2 years plus, because I don't smoke now, do you get what I mean? But it's been like since November 2019 up until now. It'll be 3 years soon, do you get what I mean? In terms of not being a smoker. Everything in my life has changed. Everything. Like, I can openly say that everything has changed since I started making these decisions to just actually focus on myself and my relationship with Christ, away from the noise and smoking and doing this and doing that, because all of these things is just bad news. It's just bad news for your body.
Got to second that as well. And just by, the whole fact that, our Romans talks about like our bodies being a living sacrifice and things like that, and it's just being very mindful of like, like at the end of the day, it's not ours really and truly. Like, I guess we get pushed messages all the time that's like, oh, like, that's my body, it's this and it's that. But more time it's like, God has made you, so realistically, it's God's.
We're here for a reason.
You have to kind of like take heed of that. And to kind of bounce off what you said, I'm gonna shoot something back at you. In the industry and the space that you're in, what is that then like in terms of, because literally everything that we've just spoken about in the last like 10 minutes, like wherever you watch out is there, like is in abundance. So how has that been for you, managing that as a whole, like all together going through?
If I'm gonna be honest, I want to say that it's a lot easier now, but it's easier because of the grace that's on my life, if that makes sense. So I now understand that I'm not here alone. I have protection. I'm covered. So yeah, does that mean that the same temptation is not in front of my face? Of course it's there, but it just means that by God's grace, I've been given, or I've been better equipped to deal with whatever is in front of me. And I think I get a thrill or a kick out of it. Like I was saying, I have a mission now. I know why I'm here, innit? And when you know that, there's a part of you, like, it's like you've been given this thing, you've been given a target. I want to achieve that target that I've been given. Do you get me? That target I've been set. And I get a thrill out of getting closer to that target, if that makes sense. So yeah, I could have been smoking weed before with the artists I'm working with, and now I don't smoke. So the first thing will be, oh, I guess you can't smoke in my room now. Do you get me? If you want to smoke, you got to go outside. And then I just think something as basic as that, yeah, they all start to question, like, yo, like, rah, like, how is it that my man don't smoke anymore? Like, I kind of want to quit smoking, but I don't know how to.
Yeah.
Since when I quit, I can say about in the first 2 months of me quitting, 5 to 7 of my brethren quit as well.
Rah.
5 to 7. Some still smoke. Some will quit eventually. Some may not. Do you know what I mean? Whatever. But I know that as a result of me stopping, others that are close to me have. And I also think it makes a big difference on your mental, innit?
Yeah.
So it's been good, man.
Yeah.
It's been good.
So cutting on you, those scenarios where, you know, you are starting to tell like artists that you're working with or whatever, like, yeah, not gonna lie, like, you might have to smoke. Was that awkward for you? Like, how did you feel about that?
Yeah, 100%. At first, because it's a different reality now, isn't it?
Yeah.
Once upon a time, I was the one lighting it up in the room. So now that I'm not, I'm looking at you like, bruv, like, don't do you know what I mean? I don't like, even something like, I don't want to go home and my clothes are stinking of weed.
Yeah.
But when you're a weed smoker, you can't even smell it yourself. So just little things like that, man. Furthermore, like I said, I know who I am now. I know who I am in Christ. Therefore, my studio, my workspace belongs to God. Do you get what I mean? That's the reality.
Yeah.
So I don't need to be bringing in any excess fumes or this or that or whatever, any excess energy into something where it doesn't belong. If one of my brethren from the studio came to link me at church, they're not going to spark a zoot outside my church or in church. So not to say that my studio is church, but it's another representation of where Christ should be. Yep. Do you know what I mean? So, and it doesn't mean that in quote all the music I make there's going to be gospel music. It's not. Yeah. Like I said, I've got an objective. I know what my job is now. Yeah. But it can still be a beacon of light. Yeah. So I don't need to be doing things to mess that up. Do you know what I'm saying? So yeah, like, smoke outside. Yeah. Smoke outside.
And I think the last thing I wanted to kind of get from me, which is on this kind of thing, is interesting. I think a lot of people would be interested in hearing this, but the balance in terms of, yes, like, you are who you are and your faith and how that intertwines, but then I guess the music that you may produce for, and you were kind of talking earlier, that's that cool, you described it as paying into a kingdom that's promoting X, Y, and Z. So how, even now, to be fair, do you kind of balance that? Like, I'm just interested, like, are there certain, like, not necessarily artists, but even are there certain songs that you might say, like, nah, like, not for me? Or how do you go about the whole thing? Because that's pretty
lyrically, naturally, I'm not the rapper or the singer, so there's gonna be songs that you're talking about something that's got nothing to do with what I believe in. I don't have to listen to it. Do you know what I mean? Really and truly, I can make the production, whatever. It's a job at the end of the day as well, isn't it? But yeah, to clear that up, like, as Christians, you're called to be light and darkness, innit? Cool. So how can you shine if you're just around light? Like, it's just bare light in one place. Do you get what I'm trying to say? We're not called for that. We're called to light up dark places. So when I quit music, God's word was quite straight and specific. You're going back to where you just came from. The difference is you're different. Yeah. God can't reach certain people and do things that he wants to do in certain people's lives if there's nobody there. Yeah. Do you get what I'm trying to say? So yeah, that might be me or the next person being in these places, which is difficult. And I think that's why I need more grace and more prayer and more this, because I'm not in a place full of light, which means that it's also easier, or the battle's tough, because it's essentially like they're still always going to be trying to pull me from one side to be tasting whatever's on that side, innit? Do you get what I mean? But again, I've got an objective, and I know that now. So it's like, okay, cool. When you have that responsibility of knowing that other people will not get what they need from God if you're not obedient, that's like, do you get what I'm saying?
Super important.
Yeah, so it's like knowing that it's pressure in itself as well, and it's like, I don't want to let God down or let people down. Like, you want to like, if you could just save everyone and touch them and save them, you would, right? It don't work like that. So if it means that you need to be in a place or do something in order for people to even just get a taste of God, because you have to remember that God created us. He knows the right appointed time in which he can visit every person, in which they're probably going to have their heart softened enough to even hear from him and want to take him in. He knows that situation in everyone's life, innit? I don't. So let me just do what I'm doing, and then be obedient, and God willing, it works, and it serves as a catalyst for the next thing and the next thing and the next thing. So yeah, man, that's how I see it. It is definitely tough, but again, like, it's all made possible by the grace of God. You know what I'm saying? There's nothing I can do by myself, innit? So like, doesn't make it easy or whatever, but it is doable. It's just that simple.
Now then, because I know a lot of people, they're even hanging on for me to go and say, what's it like working with Hus? What's it like with Hedi? What's it? But for you, what is it in terms of working with these guys? Like, are you, where do you feel that you are now in terms of, plaques are there and all these things are there, but the question here is, what drives you now? Because, I always enjoy, when, producers, they pat out the list of all the records they've done in the year and all that stuff. And I just enjoy doing that stuff. You just even quick Google of your own and just like, rah. So it's just like, what drives you now?
Life in general.
Or yes, that and pertaining to music. Yeah,
so in terms of what drives my music, my life outside of music drives that as well. Like, I want to have my own family, wife, kids, this and that. Money needs to be made to provide for those things. Like, do you know what I'm saying? Yeah. I want to do this, I want to do that. I can't help my family. I can't do all of these things without the pocket. Yeah, that's just the reality of it. Yeah, I don't have a salary. There's no salary in music. Well, not in this part of music. Okay. Therefore, I always have to make sure that I'm working. What I do is strictly based on faith. Yeah. Because I have faith that whatever I'm working on is eventually going to pay off. Do you get what I'm trying to say? Whether it's 6 months down the line, a year down the line, whatever it is, there's no salary. So I'm always spending money, but without the guarantee of ever knowing if that thing's even going to pay me back or if I'm going to make money off it. Yeah. When I make songs with all of these artists, that doesn't guarantee they're going to use the song. Yeah. The song's just been made. I don't get paid for that. I get paid if they actually use the song. Yeah. So that's a big motivator, knowing that you need to keep things moving because you need to continue to get paid. Motivator number one, like I said, is the fact that God has positioned me here. That is my main motivator. I can work with peace of mind now because I know this is where I'm supposed to be for now. Yeah. And I think that's different, as opposed to doubting, is this really where I'm supposed to be in life? You're questioning it. Is this what I'm supposed to do? Is this what I'm supposed to do? I know that right now, this is what I'm supposed to be doing. So that gives me peace of mind and motivation to do it because I know I'm supposed to be doing it. Then the fact that I can hear my music is always getting better. Yeah. I'm always improving. It's going from strength to strength makes a big difference. I love making music, do you know what I'm saying? Yeah. I love creating opportunities for myself musically, testing myself, testing the waters. Like, I love it when I got a release coming out and I know people have no idea what's about to come. Do you know what I'm saying? I love that stuff. Like, I know how...
We don't like it on this side, by the way. Just to let you guys know, we don't like it. We hate it on this side.
But you know what I mean? Like, I love it. Like, I know my ability right now and I know what's out in the world doesn't even come close to showcasing what I'm actually on. Do you know what I mean? And I like that. I like knowing that probably the next 20 songs I release, people are going to be like, wow. But I know that, do you know what I mean? I've been building, like, I've been working on myself. So, and essentially, this is all engineered by God now. So I know the level is just going to be that much better.
Yeah.
I can see the difference in my career before I started taking God seriously to when I started. 2 different TSPs. Doesn't mean I wasn't good before, but being good and being acknowledged for it and then improving and actually understanding more, 2 different things.
Yeah.
And I can see what's come as a result of me putting God first without the intention of getting this from it. It's just come along with it. Essentially, that whole Matthew 6:33.
Yeah.
Like, what you're actually seeking, but then God adds everything else. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's because I decided to just focus on God and seek God's kingdom. Do you know what I mean? So I would say that's motivated me. My peers around me, they keep me going. Like I said, my older brother's a producer, my cousin's a producer, my friends are producers, and everybody is successful. Yeah. Like, even in my management team, I got the same manager as a producer called P2J. Yeah. Who's doing everything. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? So seeing that in front of me, and it's like, okay, I'm gonna have my time too. Yeah. I'm gonna be that guy one day. I'm gonna have my moment and blah 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 blah. But it's nice to see people close to you doing it with humility. Yes. It just makes it feel so much more obtainable and easier. So I do it for so many different reasons. You get me? Like, I love what I do. Yeah. I'm my own boss, essentially. I wake up when I want. Do you know what I mean? Unless I'm told to wake up to pray, I'm sleeping. Do you know what I mean? But I just have the freedom to do these things in it, and I'm proper grateful for that. So yeah, there's so many different motivating factors. Now you're seeing the price of everything's going up. Yeah. So I need to work harder.
Please.
Do you know what I mean?
So as we all do, what was the song for you or moment for you where you were like, oh right, like, can't lie, like this can work. This can work with my production.
Different moments along the way. But the most significant one, Spirit for J Hus. Okay. 100%. Yeah. I just think, cool. Spirit for J Hus. That song, was close to not actually being used, innit?
Oh, stop, man.
Yeah, no, it was. I remember, because that was the only song that I did on the first album, Common Sense. Yeah. So, I don't know, I just felt like, for whatever reason, my involvement wasn't gonna end up becoming fruitful and bearing fruit, should I say, innit? So one day I just called my mum. I said, listen, we're gonna pray. Well, you're gonna pray. Yeah. I wasn't ready to pray. So listen, I got this song, it's called Spirits, with this artist called J Hus. The song's actually got a really good message, blah, blah, blah. I proper sat her down on the phone and I was like, yo, she prayed over it. The song ended up being his second single. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Even just lyrically, what the song talks about, I think is super, super relevant to my life. Yeah. And just that whole thing of hope and actually having spirit. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? So it's kind of crazy how that was the first big moment for me, or the first song where I can be like, yo, things are going to be different now. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? That's the song that kind of made people aware of who TSB was, because at the time there was still nothing really going on. Yeah, I didn't have a tag as well, which I didn't care about. If I had my way, I still wouldn't have one.
Interesting.
Yeah, I think it's a bit self-glorified, but it works now, and I understand in business that it's needed, branding, blah blah blah. And maybe if I had it earlier, I would be doing more. Who knows? Yeah. But definitely that song, it just changed my life. Yeah. Like, not single-handedly, but the most impactful song in terms of my journey so far is probably still going to be that song. Yeah. So, yeah.
Even on that, do you feel like the way that we view the producers in general has changed? Because I know a lot of people now, they're like kind of obsessed with, this person sampled this and this was sampled. Or like, even with like the knowledge of like producers, so whether that's on tag, so whether that's yourself, whether that's BK, whether that's J5, like whoever, like, do you feel like recognition has kind of like improved in that sense?
100%. Because a lot of us are stepping out into our own now, doing more things, branding wise, dropping our own songs, all of that kind of stuff. But I think a lot of it stems from the fact that maybe we're underappreciated over here, whereas in other countries, producers are almost viewed as stars in the same right with the artist.
Yeah.
Things will change. Do you know what I mean? It's always nice to be appreciated. Do you get what I'm trying to say? Like, you just gotta stay, or you gotta just pray for that humility, should I say, to know how to deal with it. I remember when I got back from America, right, and the Hus album had come out. This is Big Conspiracy, and I was chatting to my mum, and I was like, I don't know how to deal with all of this. Like, I went from still being who I was, but just being a bit more under the radar, to having a #1 album. Wasn't my first #1 album. That was the first time that I'd really put my tag on Hus music.
Yeah.
I had 4 songs on the album. Do you know what I'm saying? So I went from 1 song to 4.
So what were the 4? Just so that we.
So the title track, Big Conspiracy, Helicopter, No Denying, and Reckless.
Thank you.
So just having the first 2 songs on the album alone, and they both have my tag on the album. So I didn't really deep it like that, but okay, everyone's anticipating J Hus, biggest artist, whatever.
Yeah.
The first thing you hear on the album is TSB.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So it just set a precedent. So things just started to really just accelerate. Like 2020 was a crazy year, like in terms of my faith and my career.
Yeah.
Like, I literally saw it go up like this together.
Wasn't that when Edna? That's when Hedy's one dropped.
Yeah. So then I ended the year with another #1 album. Do you know what I mean? So like it was a bit like, yo, this is really God. Then that year, first time I'd ever been like nominated for any Producer of the Year awards, so MOBA awards and Rated awards. So it was just like things that I never, and it was weird because by the time I got nominated, it's easy to say you don't care because deep down you do care a little bit.
I believe everybody to it, even if it's 1%.
That's what I'm saying. But I stopped caring because I felt like when I should have probably been recognized, I wasn't. But the truth is that was on my time and not God's time. Do you know what I mean?
Were there any in particular that you thought are like any like projects or things that you would have worked on that you would have thought are like?
Yes and no.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
Like, there's projects you work on that you might not make the cut on either for whatever reason. Do you know what I'm saying? So there's a lot of things you'll work on.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was just very interesting how things developed over that period of time, innit? And for me personally, like, I just have to be honest about it. If not for God, this wouldn't be my reality. It's just that simple. The next person doesn't have to say that.
Yeah.
The next person, God was still involved, but they just maybe don't know it or believe it or feel it or whatever. But for me, knowing how I was raised and whatever, I cannot be one of those people that doesn't rely on God for these things.
Yeah.
It's just as simple as that.
Yeah. As we wrap up and head towards the end, what does the rest of the year look like for you?
I don't know, but a lot of hard work. These next 4 months are going to be fun. Working on a lot of good stuff right now. So I'm sure people will be happy to hear that.
Read between the lines, people. Read between the lines.
So we're just finishing things off at the moment. And I'm finding my feet. I went to Nigeria at the end of May. I was there for 2 weeks. And it was nice because I haven't been back to Nigeria since I was 8 years old.
Damn.
First time in 21 years I've been back. So it was nice to go as an adult, as a mature man. And just like touch the soul and create music, man.
Yeah.
It's been so, like, since that Nigeria trip, if I was to list to you the artists that I've worked with in terms of Afrobeat artists, it's almost unreal.
Damn.
Like, who I've actually been working with or I've been in the room with. Like, and for me it's amazing because I'm so versatile. But I feel like because I've had, in quote, so much success in the rap space, people forget that I'm a full-on musician and they just kind of take me in for that stuff.
Yeah. So
this next 4 months looks like a lot of music away from maybe the natural stuff that people would have heard early doors. Yeah. A lot less rap focused for me personally. Like a lot more Afrobeat stuff. Like a lot more. Yeah. Like I'm really about to do some damage there. God willing, that's my plan.
Amen.
Do you know what I mean?
Nah.
Everything, like, do you know what I mean? I'm a lover of music. I create pop music. I make R&B. I make dance. I make whatever.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And I'm just praying that over the next period of time or whatever, these records come out and it just shows TSB in a better scope. I'm also working on my debut album, which is amazing. It's very difficult, but then nothing worth having comes easy. Do you know what I'm saying? So you guys should be praying for me, man.
No, we're gonna. Don't worry. Don't worry. That's why I think. Listen,
I need that one.
We'll pray still.
But yeah, no, man. So I'm excited, man. Like, I'm working on a lot of stuff that I'm genuinely proud of as well.
Yeah.
Which is a different feeling. Like, I'll leave the studio excited to go back to finish what I've just created. I feel like I just love music again.
Yeah.
I'm just back in that place of wanting to create and loving the creation.
Yeah.
I'm also doing quite a few things like in the gospel space as well.
Yes.
So I'd say namely the person I work with the most is Governor B.
Yeah.
We're working on his album at the moment. We've got more than a few records on that album this time around. Rebler as well is another one. And there's other people that I'd like to work with in that space. Yeah. Obviously, permitting it works and God's time and whatever. But like, whatever I can do to give back is so important for me. Like, it's proper important for me. I have to do that. Do you know what I'm saying? I have to do that.
Nah.
So, but yeah, it's a lot of fun, man. Like, for the first time in a long time, I'm super excited about what's to come. So yeah.
No, awesome, man. Literally can't wait. No, you yourself, you think you can't? None of us can wait. So, nah, super gas for that. And that is literally that. All that there is left to do is thank you for coming on.
Oh, thank you.
It's been I've thoroughly enjoyed it, and like man, just enjoyed it proper. That is that. On our side, guys, as you have enjoyed this conversation so much, make sure that you are following us on Instagram and TikTok at the RGS Podcast. We've got chart updates there, recommendations, behind the scenes footage, all that good stuff. And before I even forget, where can the people, because I was gonna forget, where can the people catch you socials wise, keep up with what you're doing?
I think everything is at _TSB OY.
Yeah.
So TS boy essentially.
Yeah.
But yeah, at _TSB OY. That's like my Insta, Twitter. If you're gonna follow me on Twitter, I just talk about football. And I retweet funny stuff. But it's just football. And Bible verses, you see a lot of that. But a lot of football. So if you don't want to see that on your timeline, don't follow me. Instagram. I'm trying the TikTok thing. Yeah. You know, I'm trying, man. So yeah, follow me there, and I'll probably do more if you follow me. But yeah, that's how you can find me, man.
Cool.
Yeah.
Guys, he's a United fan, by the way. Good.
Yeah.
We know good things. We invite good people here just to put that out there. But but nah, this has been awesome, and we are gonna see you guys next time. But for now, it's been good vibes. So say less, don't stress, and God bless. Peace.
You are now listening to Redefined Gospel Sounds.
So what's good, guys? Quick fire questions. Got a weird TSB on a couch, and yeah, man, we don't stop these questions for nobody. So I know he's ready. Gonna see how it goes, and yeah. So first, favorite Bible verse, just chapter verse. Don't need to quote it.
I got 2. Matthew 6:33.
Uh-huh.
Philippians 4:13.
Calm. Next, a song that you're loving right now. Can be anything.
Oh, I'll give you 2.
Okay.
If we're talking gospel, Gyra.
Fez.
If we're talking Afro beats, I like Oxlade's Cool also right now. That's a banger, man.
Next is the biggest lesson on your faith journey so far.
The biggest?
Yep.
Don't do anything in your own strength.
Calm.
Yeah.
Next is, this is going to be such an interesting one. Next is an artist that you'd like to work with in the future. Because I know that list is narrowing.
Artists I'd like to work with in the future, Ed Sheeran.
Calm. Next is your favorite song that you've released so far.
Released.
Yes, that made that distinction on purpose.
Favorite. Oh Lord. Favorite. It's tough. I'm gonna go with This is a bit cheat. This is unfair.
I'll get 3 to make it
Okay,
easier, because
3.
that is actually very unfair. I can't lie, I deeped it.
Okay, cool. I'll do one J Hus. What's my favorite J Hus song that I've actually released though? I'm gonna go with Big Conspiracy.
Okay.
The title track. I really like that one.
Yeah.
Heady One, Princess Cuts. I really like that one. And a third, because of the storytelling, I'm gonna go with Nux, Hide and Seek. I love the storytelling.
Yeah.
That's just different.
Dope. Next is your favorite moment in music so far.
For me.
Yeah.
Favorite moment in music so far, it would be... Okay, cool, I'll go with this one. When J Hus first came out of jail and Drake brought him out and he came out to Spirit.
Yeah.
I think that was just like, it took me back, like, yo, like,
yeah,
this song as well, like, it was just,
yeah,
man.
Steady. Next is your go-to song recommendation. So if I was to come on to you and say, yo, like, bro, put me on, what are you telling me right now? It could be anything, any genre, anything.
Okay. Yo, that's an interesting one. I'd probably tell you to... Do you know what? I wouldn't put you onto a song. I'd put you onto 2 people if you wasn't already onto them. So I'd put you onto Buju.
Yeah.
And I'd put you onto Ashake as well.
Fairs.
I'd say like right now they're just...
Fairs, man. Fairs. Cool. Next is something that you'd like Christians to do better.
Communicate with each other more, probably, you know.
Calm.
I think just to know who's who, we should know each other.
Yeah. Fairs.
Why not?
And lastly, if God was sitting right next to you, what would you ask him?
What would I ask him? I don't even know if I'd ask him anything. I don't know if I could get to that, because I don't even know what that experience would be like. I don't know if I'd be calm, if I'd be shaking, like,
Fairs.
I don't know.
Fairs.
But if it was that, and I had to ask him something, wisdom and grace.
Cool.
I think I'd ask him for that. Because there'd be 100 things I'd want to ask him. Like, oh God, why is this like this? Why is the sky blue?
Yeah.
Do you get what I mean?
Yeah,
but I also understand that some things our brain was never supposed to be able to comprehend. So, yeah.
Cheers. Thank you very much.
Thank you.